Hello everyone, this is Joel over here, and welcome to the final episode of a React series. And this is episode number 21. And in this episode, we will just look into what is dynamic path loading over here. So, before entering into the dynamic path loading, I thought of let's recap the things which we have seen, not everything, just the things which we required for this dynamic path loading alone. I just removed all the JSON files and cards and everything which we created in our early episodes. So in this episode, we will just create the cards and fetch the API from the endpoints, and we will just create a good component using React as well as the router. We will just look into the routers also over here, and after that we will just look into what is dynamic path loading over here, and we are gonna introduce two custom hooks over here in this dynamic path loading. So stay tuned for that, and let's create the project first. Okay, so in my desktop I'll just create a new folder saying post. Okay, and I'll just drag and put it in my VS Code editor. Fine. Now I'll just create the React application. So I'm opening the terminal, npm create with t at latest. Okay, so now let's wait. Okay, it's asking for project name, let it be post, and the framework is React over here, and the variant is JavaScript. And let's move to the directory called post, and we can install this. So npm i is also the valid path to install this packages over here. You can go either with npm install or else npm i over here. Okay, it got installed. Now let's run and check. Npm run dev. I'm just copying this and opening the Google Chrome. Okay, so I'm just pasting over here. So our React application has been started over now. Fine. So I'll just close this terminal. No need of this terminal anymore. So in post folder, let me delete the unwanted folders over here, which is I no need of app.jsx. Let me delete this, and even app.css I no need of it. I'll just delete this, and index.css I'll just remove the contents. Okay, that's it. Fine, all as it. So now for CSS I'm gonna use the bootstrap. So from the bootstrap website I'm gonna pick this link command, and in index.html in the head part I'm gonna paste this bootstrap code over here. I mean the link over here. Okay, that's it. We have imported the bootstrap CSS also. Fine. Now let's create the components for our application. So I'm going to create two components, which is home.jsx as well as post.jsx over here. So in src new file home.jsx. Fine, and I will just make it quick over here. Home return and export default. What is it? Home. So return, I'll just give some empty fragments over here. Same way in source folder, I'll just create a new file called post.jsx over here, and let me do it quick. Post return empty fragment, and at the last we can just give it as export default post. Okay, so we have created two JSX file, which is home.jsx as well as post.jsx, and I'll just close this index.html. And now in main.jsx we are gonna import this. Okay, so first thing, for routers, let me install the routers over here. I'll just right now close this terminal and then install it. npm install react route, I mean hyphen right router dom. So let's wait for a while. It got installed over here. Let me clear it, and I'll just start the machine again. Okay, so now let's check. Okay, the error is because we just deleted this app.jsx, right? So that's the one. Okay, and machine is working properly. So let me close this terminal, and I'll just import the create browser routers and create router provider from the React router down. Create browser router and the router provider. Where is it? From React router DOM. Okay. So now in strict mode, I'll just remove this app, and above the main.jsx file, I'll just create this const router is equal to create browser router, and it's gonna get the argument as a list. Okay, fine. Inside the strict mode, I'll just pass this router provider, and the props is router is the one which we created now, and closing tag, and I'm closing the router provider. Here I'm just giving the objects. Okay, so as a first object, let me give it as path, which is root directory, and here let it be element as home over here. Okay, and the home got imported in the top. Fine. Same way over here, path let it be as slash post. Okay, and the element let it be as post.jsx, and even this got imported in the top. Fine. Now in post.jsx, let's try whether is it working or not. I'll just create a div saying that hello post. So now in our URL, you can just move into post. Let's see. Okay, fine. Our React application is working properly now. Let's switch to the home directory itself. Okay, so now fine. Now in home.jsx, we are gonna fetch the endpoints of an API. So for endpoints, I have taken JSON placeholders post JSON file over here. So this is the endpoint right now we have. I'll just copy this. Okay, so we will just first assign the JSON file properly. Then we can just move on to the return statements over here. So first step, I'm gonna create the state variable, which is const post set post, which is equal to use state over here. Use state got imported, and as a default thing, I'll just keep it as null. And we are gonna use effect also. So let me use this use effect, and even that got imported. And arrow function over here. Inside this, we are gonna use the fetch method to fetch the API. I'm gonna pass this as a URL. Fine. Now it's gonna return a promise, right? So dot, then we are just converting this response to proper JSON file, response dot JSON over here, and this JSON should be given to the setter method of the post. Set post, let it be posts over here, because we are using multiple posts, right? So posts, and data, we are gonna pass this data to them. Okay, fine. No need of this error handling, and I'll just give MP dependency so that use effect will be called once over here. Fine. Now everything is done. In return statement, I'll just go to the Bootstrap website, and then I'll just search cards over here. And inside cards, let me pick a card. Okay, let me go with this card. I'll just copy the HTML tags, and in return, I'll just paste this. Okay, first I'll just align this properly, tab, and even this. Okay, fine. As I'll just close this explorer. As a first step, we should change the class over here. So I'm just finding the class and changing into class name. Fine, we have switched all the class into class name over here, and according to React, this should be in a double curly brackets. Okay, and only 18, this should only be inside the codes, whereas this shouldn't be. So now let's go and check our page. Fine, we have got the card, and let me set the card as M5. Okay, so we have got the card. I'll just remove the unwanted things which we have inside this, which is a tag as well as p tag. I'll just remove this p tag also. Let it be the card title and card subtitle over here. Let's check. Fine, we have the card right now. Or else let's remove this also. Okay, fine. Let it be. No issues. If possible, I'll just make a proper bootstrap course, guys. No issues. 18 RAM. Fine. Now we have achieved the card over here. Okay. So right now we have taken the JSON file from the endpoints and we have created the cards using Bootstrap. Now we have to map this, right? So right now I'll just cut all this. So posts, why posts? Okay, curly braces, posts, ampersand. This is because we are gonna render it only if the post is not null, because fetch API takes some time, right? So post ampersand, and over here post dot map. Okay, and this map is gonna take an argument called post, and using this we are gonna map it. Fine, I'll just paste this div tag and this should be written, right? Just a sec. Written. Okay, fine. Now inside of card title, let's go and check what is inside this thing. We have title and body. We don't have content also over here. So I'll just remove the subtitle also because we don't have it. We have just only title and body. I'll just say why I didn't use this body. Okay, and never mind this language. I don't know which language is it. So for just a reference, I have taken this JSON file. Okay, so what should be over here? It should be post dot title, and we have to pass the key also, right? Key is equal to post dot id because we have id over here. Now let's check what happens over here. We didn't get anything. Let's go to inspect console. Everything looks good. Then what's the issue? Post ampersand post dot map post. Or else might be this issue, but it won't be an issue much. Okay, fine. Curly braces over there was the issue, and fine. I no need to waste the time over here for the presentation. We can do it, but still, it's the time to go to the concept called dynamic path over here. Fine. Okay, now what is dynamic path is, right now if we just enter into the URL and if we just go to the post URL, we have the post component over here. Okay, this is fine, but our motive is over here is if we click on this particular card, it should enter into the particular post component and it should present the details of this particular card alone. Basically, we have one component called post and we are going to dynamically change the path over here. That's it. So fine, let's see how we can do this over here. First thing, what is the unique thing which we have in this JSON is ID. Each post has an unique ID over here. Even in this YouTube video, if you see the top, we have a unique ID for this YouTube video. So based on the ID only, a API will fetch the endpoints and present to you in the screen. So we are gonna use this ID. So first step, in a React component, what I'm gonna do is in home.jsx, I'm gonna use a custom hook called use navigate over here. You just type use navigate or VS Code will import the use navigate hook from the React router DOM. See this hook is in React router DOM, not in the React packages. We have lots of hooks in our React router DOM as well as in React packages, but in this series I'm just covering the basic hooks alone. Okay, and you can check the documentation of Reacts also. You have so much of hooks, you can implement those and check it also, no issues. Fine. Right now we have imported a hook called use navigate hook from the React router DOM package, and now we have to create the object for this, which is const, let me name it as navi, which is equal to use navigate brackets. Fine, you have created the objects over here. Now in buttons, I mean in click events episode, we have seen on click function, I mean on click property over there, right? So same way this on click property can be used in div tag also. So what I'm going to do is, our motive is if we click on this particular card, it should switch, right? So of course on click property should be used, and even div tag has the capacity to use this on click property over here. So this is the main div, right, which contains all the thing. So here I'm gonna create a on click property, and what I'm gonna write over here is navi is the object which we created for use navigate, right? So navi this to navigate this to post. Okay, I guess post is the URL which we gave. Yeah, not posts. Okay, navigate this to the post. And one more thing, this is the one which we are seeing in click events also. If we are just using an argument inside on click, we have to wrap it with anonymous function over here. Okay, what happened? I'll just give it into curly braces. What is happening over here? Okay, it has been not copied. I'll just give it again, post. Okay, it should navigate to the post. Let's check in our thing. Fine. So if you click on this card, it's moving to the post component over here. Any card, you can just see whatever cards we have over here. If you just click on this particular card, it moves on to the post component over here. But all the cards are moving into one post component, right? So we have to make the path dynamic over here. So to make the path dynamic, we are gonna use this ID over here. With this ID, we are gonna place this dynamic path over here. First step, we are just telling to navigate to post component. So here we have to pass a slash in the quotes, and we are gonna append the ID over here. So how the ID can be accessed? ID can be accessed using post.id, because we have the posts in post state variable, and we are creating the argument, and we are just using this post using the thing called post. So here we are gonna pass post.id over here. Fine. So now if we just go over here, I'll just refresh this and click this, it's moving, but it says post 1 is error because we didn't say our router that we have implemented the ID over here. So basically post is the valid path. Okay, this is the valid path because our router is assigned to post. But now here if I click this, wait, it has just switched. Okay, fine. If I just click this, you can see unexpected application error, which is post/1 is not a valid path. So here what we have to do is we have to tell our router we have implemented the ID. So /:id. You can give ID or else either way. It's not mandatory that only ID should be given over here. You can give whatever names you want. Okay, but using ID is a traditional manner. That's what all the programmers have been doing for years and years. So let we go in the ID itself. Fine. So now same way I'll just click over here. You can see post 1 we have entered and the component is same. Right now we didn't do the customization of component, so we are just entering into the ID, but the component are same over here. So right now we have successfully entering into the ID. Fine. Now everything in the home component and ID component has been finished. Now we have to work in the post component over here. host component, uh, again we are going to use ID over here, because if we click on this particular card, it should display the relevant contents of this card, right? So same ID is the only unique way we can approach this method. So while fetching the API, I'll just go to home.jsx and I'm not writing the fetch API again. Okay, I'm just copying all this, copy, and in post.jsx file I'm just pasting this. Fine, and we have to import this use state and use effect hook. Import use state from React as well as use effect hook. Fine, we have imported this. So previously we are just fetching the whole JSONs over here, but now we have to fetch the particular JSON over here also in this file. If you just go to this post and /1, you can see post/1 will have the particular details of the ID. So /1 holds this particular components over here. So this is the way we are gonna fetch, and we are gonna give this ID as a dynamic manner over here. That's it. It's more simple. So here HTTPS, JSON placeholder, all these things are there, right? Here again I'm gonna give the slash, and here I'm gonna pass the ID. But before this, I wanted to say we are gonna use the second custom hook, which is use params over here. So use params. So this is also a custom hook from the React router DOM. Using this use params, we are gonna access this ID over here. So let me create the object over here, const, and this ID will be in a JSON format, right? So curly braces ID, which is equal to use params, and I'm calling this method. Fine. Now the ID alone we are just taking and storing into this ID thing, and we will just paste it over here. I mean use it over here, which is ID. That's it. Fine. Now in return statement, I'm gonna tell post.title, and what all things we have, body, and okay, instead of this I'll just cut this h2 tag post.title, and in p tag post.body, right? Yeah, body. Fine. And now if we go and check over here, if we just click what's the other, cannot read the properties. Okay, this is the one which we are seeing in fetch API episodes also. So here I'm gonna cut this, saying that until post is not null means we have to present this. Fine, that's it. So now if we just go to this post, which is the home URL, if we just go, if I click this particular card, you can see the particular card's title and body is been displayed over here. Same way, if I click this one, see we are just changing the ID dynamically over here. If anything over here, even this, if we just click 13th post is nothing but this one. So this is how you can use dynamic path, and we have seen two custom hooks, which is use navigate from React router DOM and as well as use params from React router DOM. So in this episode we have covered uh, what is dynamic path and all those things, and this is the final episode of a React series. If possible, I'll just try to put some few front-end projects also, some simple projects like newsreader application or else authentication using Firebase, and I'll just try to put how to deploy your React application also. We will use Firebase so that you can deploy your application also over there. So yeah, this is the final episode, and in the series we have covered what is React, what is component, and what is props, conditional rendering, fetching of your API, and routers. All these concepts we have seen. We have also seen how you can host your own JSON file also. So I hope this series was helpful for you guys. also post some series in Bootstrap also, because Bootstrap is the most easiest way to write the CSS also, right? So I'll just put Bootstrap series if possible, and that's it, guys. Stay tuned for the next series. Okay, bye.